Friends, this is the story of an orphan boy who had some magical powers through which he could find out when and how a person is going to die. Let's see how. Well, this story starts with a tragic scene where a plane has just crashed and the number of people who have died in it is in hundreds. But luckily, a small child named Shinichiro is alive and is looking for his parents who may have been killed. Meanwhile, he hears the voice of a girl who is asking Shinichiro for help. But he is so small that he does not understand what to do. Then a large part of the plane falls on that girl, and the scene shifts to a moment a few years later, where we see Shinichiro, who has now grown up and works at a car garage. Shinichiro's owner is Tejasua, who keeps him just like his son, and Shinichiro also feels the image of his father in Tetsuya. Tetsuya is soon going to open another garage, and he wants Shinichiro to become his manager. But Shinichiro rejects this offer because he feels that he is not right for this position. But Tejasua still gives him a chance to think, while his daughter Misuko also convinces Shinichiro because she also felt that only he is right for this post. On the other hand, Canada, who works in the same garage, was upset with this because he has always been jealous of Shinichiro because Tajasua used to give him priority in every work. He often used to express his anger by harassing Shinichiro. Even today, he abuses him and pushes him away. Due to which, Shinichiro's mobile breaks, and after finishing the work, he goes to a shop to get it repaired, where a girl Ao Ai greets him. Shinichiro tells that his phone is broken. But according to Ao Ao Ai, it was a very old model, whose parts were difficult to get, but still she somehow fixes Shinichiro's phone. So even at night, Shinichiro remembers Aoi while looking at his phone. The next day, he catches the metro to come to work, in which the hands of a man standing next to him suddenly start disappearing. Then we are told that Shinichiro had got a power at the site of the plane crash, with the help of which he can see the future of people, especially his death, and the disappearing hands of this man were also proof that he is going to die. But Shinichiro cannot do anything, so he goes to his work, where Misuko tries to persuade him to become the manager. But Shinichiro does not give any special answer. At night, he passes in front of the same mobile shop, and his eyes were still searching for Aoi. Meanwhile, a stranger collides with him, and Shanicharo follows him out of curiosity to know what will happen to him, and after going some distance, a car crushes him and goes away. Shanichiro regretted that he could not do anything for her, so he gets very upset, and the next day he asks Masuko that if she gets such a power that she can see the future of people, also she gets to know who is going to die when, then what will she do? On this, Misuko says that this is not a power but a curse. That is why she does not want any such power. Here, Shanihiro sees that once again his mobile is getting damaged. So he again goes to Aoi and gets the phone repaired. But he gets scared to see that Aoi's hands are also disappearing. So he decides to save her and calls her to meet after finishing the work. Aoi also thinks at first. Then she promises to meet in the coffee shop, where Shanichiro sees that Aoi's hands are getting cured and he becomes very happy. Aoi asks why she has called him here. On this, he says that he has the power to see the future, but he doubted that Aoi would not believe him, so he leaves after saying sorry. But while he was going home, he felt a sharp pain in his chest. But somehow he manages to come home, and the next day, with full confidence, tells Tajasua that he is ready to become a manager. Also, he works in the garage till late night, where Aoi also comes to meet him. Shinichiro is surprised to see Aoi, and Aoi tells that she has taken Shinichiro's address from the store, and she has come here to talk about something important. Shinichiro offers her coffee, and Aoi, while holding a newspaper, tells that there is a factory some distance away from her store, which was attacked last night, and many people were killed in that attack. Aoi could also be among these dead people because she goes home by the same route after finishing work every day. But Shinichiro saved her last night. She says that she remembers that future talk. She also thanks Shinichiro, but Shinichiro laughs it off, and the next day, as soon as Masuko comes to the store, she understands that someone had come here last night. She asks Shinichiro about this, and Shinichiro also tells the truth with complete honesty. Misuko is happy about this because this was the first time that Shinichiro was making friends with someone. Whereas before this, he did not even let anyone come near him. Here we are told a small story of the past in which a girl named Mariko used to work at Tetsuya's garage. Mariko liked Shinichiro, but Shinichiro never paid attention to her. So Mariko got into a relationship with a rich customer who came to the garage and left from here forever. The story again comes to the present, where Misuko and Shinichiro hear the voice of Tetsuya, who was shouting at Kaneda. Because he had taken a customer's car from the garage and went on a date without telling Tajasuwa. But instead of accepting his mistake, Kaneda gets angry at Tajasuwa and Shinichiro and even hits Shinichiro, due to which Tajasuwa gives him a strong punch and fires him from the job. But as soon as Kaneda leaves, Shinichiro sees Tajasuwa's hands, which are suddenly disappearing. This means that Tajasuwa's life is also in danger. But Shinichiro considered him like his father, so he decides to save him and asks him to have dinner with him after finishing the work. Tajasuwa also agrees, and both of them start walking towards the restaurant. But on the way, Shinichiro's attention was only on Tajasuwa and the things around him. Meanwhile, from a dark place, Kaneda runs towards Tajasuwa with an iron rod. But Shinichiro comes in between and saves him, due to which Tajasuwa's life is saved. But Shinichiro gets a heart attack and he wakes up directly in the hospital, where Misuko tells that Tajasuwa has forgiven Kaneda because he realized his mistake. After this, Dr. Takio checks up on Shinichiro and says that this might have happened due to stress. Meanwhile, Shinichiro sees a little girl who is disappearing, so he tries to follow her. But Takio stops him and asks if he also saw that girl disappearing. After this, both of them talk on the roof of the hospital, where Takio tells that he also has this ability, and it is called Fortune Eye. But we are ordinary humans, not God. Therefore, we do not have the right to change or play with someone's fate. And if someone does this, then, on the contrary, his life can be in danger. So let whatever is happening to whomever it is happen. Otherwise, your life can be in danger, and this is also the reason for your heart attack. After this, Shinichiro goes all the way thinking about this, and the next day, he calls Aoi to meet him and also proposes to her. But Aoi leaves from here without giving any answer. But then she agrees the very next day, due to which both of them start meeting each other and their love deepens. Meanwhile, Keita comes to Teyasuwa again to ask for work, and Shinichiro also recommends him, so Teyasuwa hires him. Due to which Kaneda thanks both Teyasuwa and Shinichiro. The next day, Shinichiro buys a pair of rings for himself and Aoi. He also goes to the hospital for a checkup, where the doctor warns him that if he gets a heart attack in the future, he can even die. After this, Shinichiro goes to his garage. There a boy comes to get his car repaired. This was none other than Mariko's boyfriend. So Shinichiro asks about Mariko, but this boy talks ill about her. He also says a lot of bad things about Shinichiro, but Shinichiro remains calm. And the next day when he comes to take his car, Shinichiro sees that it is also vanishing into thin air, meaning it is also going to die. But he decides not to do anything, and after a few days we see Shani Kairo at the funeral of the same man, where his little daughter was crying for her father. Shani Cairo feels very sad after seeing that girl. At the same time, he repeatedly remembers the girl from the plane crash site whom he could not save. The next day, he sits in a park in despair, where some children of the kinder school were playing with their teacher. Then a girl comes to him and asks for a ball. But the body of this girl was also slowly disappearing. Along with that, the rest of the children and even the teacher's body suddenly start disappearing. So Shawnee Cairo checks the hands of all the children, but the teacher feels that he is doing something wrong with the children. So she leaves from here with all the children. But a letter from the school falls from her hand, in which it was written that the children of the school are going on a trip by train. He understands that something is wrong. So the next day, he goes to the station where many passengers were disappearing in the same way. Then Shinichiro realizes that the train, leaving at 7:30 a.m. the next day, is going to have an accident. And he was sure about this because with the letter from the school, he asks Aoi to go with him on a trip for 3 days. Aoi thinks at first, but then says yes, and Shinichiro also becomes happy. But he had to save those children and the other passengers too, so he calls the school to cancel the trip. But due to lack of any valid reason, the school authority refuses to cancel the trip. In the evening, Shani Hiro writes a letter in which he is telling everything to Aoi, including the lie about the trip. He also writes how much he loves Aoi, but his entire planning goes waste the next morning, when Aoi messages him and tells him that her coworker is unwell, so she has to go to the store. After reading this message, Shani Kiro runs towards the station, but the police was waiting for him outside the house. Actually, the school teacher had complained against him that he was misbehaving with the children. But to save Ao, he escapes from the police, and on reaching the station, he sees that Ao has already boarded the train. So he catches a taxi and reaches another station so that he can stop the train before it reaches there. Here, Shani Hiro sees that construction work is going on. Seeing this, Shinichiro understands that a train being used for construction will fall on the train coaches and all the people will die. But Shinichiro does not let this happen. Instead, he stands in front of the train with a smoke candle. Ao-e, who is in the coach just behind the engine, also sees Shinichiro and asks the driver to stop the train, and the driver also stops the train. Meanwhile, we also see the train falling. That is, Shinichiro had stopped this train accident and saved the lives of all the passengers. Aoi immediately comes out of the train where Shinichiro was sitting on the tracks. As soon as Aoi sees him, she starts crying because he had lost his life to save Aoi and the other passengers. At Shinichiro's funeral, Aoi comes to know that she is the first girl with whom Shinichiro was so close. Hearing this, she becomes even more sad, and in the next scene, we come to know that Aoi is the girl who had asked for help from Shinichiro at the crash site. But due to the trauma, Shinichiro did not remember that he had saved Aoi's life. It is also revealed here that Aoi has fortune ice, and she has always been looking for Shinichiro. So the first time when Shinichiro came to the shop and reacted to Aoi's disappearing hands, she understood that Shinichiro was that boy. But Shinichiro also put his life at stake to save his love. After this, we see Aoi reading the same letter which was written by Shinichiro. While reading it, she cries a lot and feels Shinichiro by wearing the rings brought by him. And with this, the story ends here. So friends, how did you like this story? Do tell us by commenting. Subscribe to our channel Film Edit by liking and sharing the video and press the bell icon so that you don't miss the upcoming movie's explanation. See you in the next video.